slide. All right, so by the end of this lesson, I will be expecting you all to know and understand photosynthesis, the importance of nutrients in food, and the use of ecosystems and food web topics, which you should have covered by term 1, photosynthesis, nutrients in food, and the use of ecosystems. Now, this is just going to be a recap lesson on all the topics that you've done in term 1, just for you to all get a good understanding of what you've done and how far you understand the content. Right, first things first is photosynthesis. It's a very, very long word. What does it mean? Now, photosynthesis is the process by which plants and other living things make food. Other organisms convert light energy into chemical energy that can later be released to fuel for organisms' activities. Now, just as much as we need energy to do our daily activities, so do organisms and plants. We obviously get our energy from drinking a cup of tea in the morning, having some good breakfast, getting a fruit, whatever the case may be. Just like organisms, they rely on light energy for them to fuel their daily activities. Many kinds of algae, protists, and bacteria use it to get food. What is it that they use? They use photosynthesis. Photosynthesis takes place mainly in the leaves, which explains the green color that is in the leaves. The process of life depends on photosynthesis because it is the #1 source of oxygen. Why is it that photosynthesis is considered the #1 source for oxygen? How about you type in your chat and let me know why you think photosynthesis is the #1 source for oxygen. And let me see some of your answers. All right, so why do you think photosynthesis is the #1 source for oxygen? Why is that? All right, someone says we cannot live without it. Maybe, excellent. We cannot live without photosynthesis. Thank you so much for that answer. All right, awesome. All right, next one. During photosynthesis, the plant uses carbon dioxide from the air and gives off oxygen into the air. Now remember, breathe in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. The very same carbon dioxide that is needed for photosynthesis to take place. All right. Animals, including people, use the oxygen from the air for breathing and give out carbon dioxide, which is used by plants for photosynthesis. So like I've already explained, we breathe in oxygen and take out carbon dioxide, which is very important for photosynthesis. All right. Yes, Aliyah, raise your hand. What is the problem? Let's hear Aliyah.
It's carbon dioxide.
Sorry, say that again, Aliyah.
It's carbon dioxide.
All right, excellent. Carbon dioxide. Thank you so much for your answer. Awesome. All right, now here's a little chemical reaction for photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide plus water and light energy, which is the sun, would then equal to glucose and oxygen, which is what is actually needed for photosynthesis to take place. Right, let's move on to the next slide. Alright, now green plants are just like factories. They make food for themselves and every animal on earth using sunlight, energy, water, and gas. Alright, they also recycle the air and make the oxygen for us to breathe. Now, there are very important requirements for photosynthesis. What do you think those requirements are? For photosynthesis to happen, how do you think that, what exactly are the requirements for photosynthesis? What do you think they are? All right, Leah said sun energy. Awesome. Reese, energy from the sun. Excellent. Charles, water. Very, very good. Anything else? What are the requirements for photosynthesis? All right, 2 people raised their hands. I think it was Aliyah. Was it you again? All right, Haley says light, water, and carbon. Well done. Omar says soil. Excellent answers, guys. Well done. All right, so let's actually find out what the requirements are. First things first, chlorophyll. Who's heard of chlorophyll? All right. Now, chlorophyll is a green substance.
YouTube doesn't want to work. Okay, so just record it on your device.
All right, so chlorophyll is a green substance that plants use to capture light energy from the sun. Chlorophyll is very important. Without chlorophyll, plants cannot use the sunlight energy to make food. Also, oxygen levels in the air will go down. If that happens, plants and animals will suffocate. So now we know the first requirement is chlorophyll. Remember, you need to remember this because I will ask you towards the end of the lesson what the requirements for photosynthesis is. The first one would be chlorophyll. Next one, sunlight. Someone did say light energy. Well done. Sunlight has energy. Plants use this energy to make sugars from water and carbon dioxide. Next, water. I can remember clearly that someone mentioned water. Now, the roots of a plant absorb water and nutrients from the soil. Water is a solvent in all living things. Now, we're going to learn about solvents in the next lesson. Dissolved substances are moved around the body to where they are needed. Just like you, plants have veins for this movement. They move minerals from the roots going up. They move sugars from the leaves going down. Photosynthesis can only happen in a water solution. Right, solutions, we will learn about that lesson next week. Sorry, in the next lesson. Water is also important because it provides support to the plant to keep it upright. Like you, plants have skeletons. But unlike you, many plants have water skeletons. Obviously, we cannot see them, but they are actually there. All right. And carbon dioxide. These are also one of the requirements for photosynthesis. The plant absorbs or takes in carbon dioxide from the air through the little holes, and these holes are found all over the plant, mostly under the leaves. And the last one, which is one of the requirements for photosynthesis, is the soil. The soil provides minerals, nutrients, and water for the plant that are necessary during photosynthesis. Soil also provides energy to the plant. Otherwise, the plant cannot stand up straight. We need our spinal cord to be able to stand up straight, and so obviously do the soil and the plants. All right. All right, now here's a step-by-step process of photosynthesis. I would like you to remember this very thoroughly. Right, so first of all, chlorophyll captures the sunlight energy. Then next, The energy splits the water into hydrogen and oxygen. Then the oxygen is released into the air. We can take a wild guess as to what the next step would be. What would the next process be? What would the next process be? You can take a wild guess. Anybody? All right, Leah says humans take in oxygen. All right, could be a good one. Anybody else? Take a wild guess. What would the next step be? Thank you, Leah, for your answer. Anybody else? What is the next step in photosynthesis? All right. Habiba said give out carbon dioxide. Reese also said the same thing. Carbon dioxide is released. All right, awesome. Thanks for your answers, guys. Let's carry on and find out. All right. So the hydrogen is used with the carbon dioxide to make glucose. So remember now, oxygen is released into the air. Then the hydrogen with the carbon dioxide make glucose, which glucose is obviously known as our sugars. The sugars are moved from the leaves to other parts of the plant where they are stored. Just like when we eat a lunch bar or chocolate, obviously certain parts of that chocolate go to certain parts of our bodies where it is stored. The water in the plant veins carries the sugars. When the sugar reaches the storage part, they are changed into starch. So just like when we have dinner, different parts of the dinner that we're eating go to different parts of our body and get stored there, especially our fats and oils. So just the same with all the veins in a plant. Plants can store the starch in these places. Now we know plants obviously store starch, but in what places do they store starch in? The leaves. This could be cabbage leaves, spinach leaves, or lettuce leaves. Fruits. This could be apples, bananas, peaches. Starch can also be stored in the stem, such as a sugar cane. Starch can also be stored in flowers. This could be broccoli and cauliflower and nasturtiums. And also in the roots. This could be carrots or beetroot. Who likes carrots? I love carrots. Good for your eyesight, okay? All right. All right, so that was just the last slide of photosynthesis. And like I said, we're going to cover 3 topics just to recap on all term 1's topic. The next part would be nutrients in food. All right, we're just recapping all the topics that you should have covered in term 1. We'll obviously move on to term 2 topics in the next lesson. All right, nutrients in food, my favorite because I'm a lover of food. All right, so first of all, we know that there's carbohydrates, and these are all your foods for energy. You can tell me what are some of the carbohydrates? Write them down in your chat. Give me an example of carbohydrates. Right, bread, yes, awesome, Leah. Charles, potato, Leah again, pasta, awesome. Lacam, I think that is pasta if I pronounce it correctly. Awesome. Anybody else? Stop, yes, Charles. Oh, not meat, Gavin. Nice try, but meat is not a carbohydrate. All right, but thank you for trying. Awesome. Then we've got some rice, beans, chicken breast, noodle. Awesome, guys. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you very, very much. Right, next one. All right, then there are proteins. All right, protein. Someone mentioned meat. So now we know that actually meat is a protein. And proteins are foods for growth and repair. All right, so who can tell me what are some proteins that you can think of? Fish, thank you, Habiba. Proteins, right, eggs, chicken, karawo, pork. Yes, awesome, meat. Thank you so much for your answers. Salmon, thank you, Reese. Haley says meat. All right, great. Done. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So now we know we've got two. All right, yes, Azra. Azra raised her hand. What's happening? You can unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hi, Azra. All right. Okay, I didn't get to hear Azra. All right, we're going to move on. So now we know that we've got two different food groups, carbohydrates and protein. All right, next one. All right, foods for storing energy, providing insulation and protection for the nerves and organs. Who can give me an example of some fats and oil? Fats and oil, butter, avocado, soya. Yes, excellent. All right, excellent answers. Beans, nuts, excellent. All right, those are examples of fats and oil. Right, awesome. Thank you. Right, so far that is 3. Now let's check the last food group. And the last one, foods for building bones. Yes, level. What is your question?
Sorry, mistake, I'm sorry.
All right, cool, no problem. All right, so vitamins and minerals, these are foods for building bones and teeth and maintaining a healthy immune system. All right, you can give me some examples of vitamins and minerals.
Carrots?
Vegetables, yes, carrots, broccoli, spinach, fruit. Awesome, you all have a perfect idea of vitamins and minerals. Excellent. All right, so now we know that there are 4 different food groups. Carbohydrates for energy, proteins for growth and repair, fats and oils for storing energy, and vitamins and minerals for building bones and strong, healthy teeth. Excellent. All right. Most natural foods contain a mixture of more than one nutrient group. My example is nuts. Now I want you to tell me, what can you think of a food that has more than one nutrient group? Example would be nuts. All right. What can you think of? A food that has more than one nutrient group.
Meat?
All right. Someone said meat. All right. We've got chicken. Okay. Milk. Awesome. Cheese. All right. Cereal, which is very good. All right, excellent. You guys have a perfect idea of nutrient groups. Next one. Most processed, which is known as manufactured foods, have added salt, sugar, preservatives, flavorings, and coloring. Now, sometimes it's a bit of a disadvantage to eat certain foods because of added salt, sugars, and preservatives, which are not always healthy for our bodies. All right, now what exactly would be a balanced diet? Who can tell me what is a balanced diet? Balanced diet. Who can take a wild guess? In your chats, write to me the answer for a balanced diet. Anybody? All right, Charles says control the types of food you eat. Raisa says when you have all 4 food groups in your diet. Excellent, well done. Excellent answer. All right. All right, great stuff. You guys are 100% correct. A balanced diet is when you have all 4 food groups. Excellent. All right, so this is a diet that refers to the selection of foods we eat every day. A balanced diet contains sufficient quantities of food from all the nutrients groups as well as water and are related to the food that we eat. All right, if you had to choose between an apple and a donut, I think a wise decision would be to eat an apple as opposed to a donut. All right, who agrees with me? Awesome. All right, awesome stuff. All right. All right, now food processing, which is not always great, but why exactly do we process food? All right, so we process food for many reasons. To make it edible, I mean, I can't just go in the kitchen and grab a raw piece of meat and eat. I obviously need to prepare it and cook it. That is why we process food, to be edible. All right, we also process food to make it last longer. All right, it also helps to make food last longer as well as improve its nutrient value. This is fermenting, which would be breaking down the carb. All right, so fermenting is when we apply food in containers for them to be preserved much longer. Sometimes the disadvantage to cook food for too long, especially like boiling carrots or potatoes, because we're kind of releasing more nutrients from the potato. Aisha, do you have a question for me? Aisha? All right, we're gonna have to move on. Aisha, you can always just type your question in the chat box for me, all right? And I'll have a look at that. Right, let's move on. All right, during processing, many foods may lose some of their nutrients, just like what I said. Please remember to just mute your microphone, please. All right.
Hi everyone, Nicki Minaj is here.
What?
All right, let's move on. Right, so we're gonna move on to our next. Now, there are different types of ecosystems. All right, an ecosystem is an area where living and non-living things depend on each other in many different ways. Remember, this is just a recap of all the term one topics. All right. Let's move on. There are many different ecosystems such as rivers, mountains, sea, rocky shore, ponds, wetlands, grasslands, forests, and deserts, which support different kinds of living things. Right, so we all depend on each other in terms of the ecosystem because all living and non-living things are part of one ecosystem and we all depend on each other for survival. Right, so there are obviously living and non-living things in the ecosystem. In an ecosystem, there are certain relationships between living things. This could be plants, animals, people, microorganisms, and non-living things. So there is a huge relationship between the water and people, between the plant and the water. We all depend on each other for survival. That's why it wouldn't make sense if somebody decides to go into the forest to cut all the trees down. Why? Because simply you're obviously destroying habitat for the animals and wood and paper for us. All right. All right, now food webs. What exactly are food webs? In an ecosystem, plants and animals are counted by their feeding relationships. Now, this is called a food web. You can give me an example of a food web, just a very simple food web. Just type the answers in the chat to tell me what is an example of a food web. Right, what is an example of a food web? All right, anybody can give me an example of a food web. All right, so now I've obviously attached a picture of a food web. The tree depends on, so basically the deer depends on the tree, what? For survival, to eat. All right. But now the very same mountain lion depends on the deer for something to eat. All right. Then, for example, we can move on to fungi. Obviously, fungi used as a microorganism. Some shrubs, a rabbit depends on a shrub, but as well as a mountain lion depends on a rabbit, and a snake depends on the rabbit too. That is just a basic definition of a food web, that how animals depend on each other. All right. A food web consists of plants. These are producers which produce food for themselves and animals. I will ask you later on to give me an example of what a food web consists of. Right. It also consists of animals which are consumers. These could be herbivores, carnivores, or omnivores. And lastly, it also consists of microorganisms that break down dead plants and animal matter and return nutrients to the soil. Right, and that's just how ecosystems and food webs. Someone actually said that they did not even learn the state in term 1, which is a bit unfortunate. So which means in the next lesson we will just learn a bit more about ecosystems and food webs, just so that you can get a deeper understanding of what it is. All right. Awesome, right? That was just our food web. We can just move on to the next slide. Sorry about that. All right, so that was just our food web. All right, so now we're going to have a couple activities just to see how much you have. Remember to just always keep muted, and you can always give me your answers in your chat, and I will definitely read them from there. Right, first question. Why does life depend on photosynthesis? Who can remember the answer to this question? Why does life depend on photosynthesis? Zara, thank you. To make food. Excellent answer. Thank you for that. Anybody else? We need oxygen. Thank you, Reese. Ganabo, oxygen. All right. Charles, we get air to breathe. Excellent. Well done. All right. And Habiba said to live. So now we know that we need, life depends on photosynthesis, basically for oxygen. It is the #1 source for oxygen. Excellent answer, guys. Well done. All right. Bradley also says plants use it to give us oxygen. And lastly, Gavin, so that we can live. All your answers are 100% correct. Next question. Write down the scientific equation for photosynthesis. If you remember correctly, in the first slide, I had a little sentence at the bottom telling you that something plus something would give you the result for photosynthesis. Who remembers what it is? Type your answer in the chat for me. Who remembers the equation for photosynthesis? Charles says chlorophyll, water, sunlight, and soil. All right, okay. Reese, take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. All right, good one. Awesome. Anybody else who can tell me the scientific equation for photosynthesis? All right, I just got Reese and Charles. Anybody else? All right, we will move on. Awesome. All right, so we know that we've got our sun energy with our chlorophyll, and obviously to give us glucose and sugar. Right, yes, Leah, you've got a question for us?
Mistake.
All right, let's move on. Number 3, what are the 4 nutrients groups? This is a very, very easy one. 4 nutrients groups, what are they? 4 nutrients groups. Remember to just type in your chat box the 4 different nutrients groups. Who's got an answer for us? All right, Ciara, or the Kiara. Fats, right, Habida, protein, carbohydrates, and fats. All right, awesome. Zara, carbohydrates, proteins, fats and oils, and vitamins. Excellent answer. All right, vitamins and minerals. Right, excellent. Thank you very much. Now remember, The 4 different nutrient groups would be your carbohydrates, which includes your bread, pasta, rice, but then we've got protein. These are your eggs, your fish, your meat. Then we've got your vitamins and minerals. These are all your fruits and vegetables. And what did I forget? Carbohydrates, protein, vitamins and minerals, and I forgot the last one. And fats and oils. There we go, fats and oils. Thank you for reminding me. All right, thank you, Brady. Fats and oils. Perfect. All right. Number 4. Now this you're going to have to answer to me using the hashtag LockdownESchool, and I'll check out your answers. You need to draw me a plate of a balanced diet. Right. So who can actually maybe, now that you're on the idea of a balanced diet, what did some of you have for supper last night? And was it a balanced diet? All right. So while you're drawing your picture, which you're going to post on hashtag LockdownESchool on Facebook, I would love to see your picture of a balanced diet. All right. And also tell me what some of you had for supper last night. And did it include all 4 food groups? All right. You can always just post your pictures just to see how you understand the place of a balanced diet. All right. All right, most of you are saying that you do not know how. Well, then maybe you can just tell me in your chat then, what did you have for dinner? Or maybe just give me an example of what would be a balanced diet. What would you cook for dinner tonight inclusive of a balanced diet? All right, what would you have? Someone said pasta. What else? And soup. All right, so give me an example of a nice dinner inclusive of all 4 food groups. Of said some chicken and rice. Awesome. All right. Anik said a sandwich. All right, that's pretty good. A sandwich including of bread, and it could have different fillings inside. All right. Kazi says rice, chicken, and vegetables. Awesome stuff. All right, you guys all have an idea of an awesome diet. Excellent stuff. All right. All right. What does a food web consist of? This was the very last slide. Who remembers what does a food web consist of? What does a food web consist of? Oh, well done, a consumer. Very good. Anybody else? Thank you, Ravashri. Producers and herbivores. Well done, Charles. Producers and a decomposer. Garabo says producers. And obviously, Ravashri again says carnivore. Excellent. Done. All right. All right. Obviously, remember to use the hashtag LockdownESchool. Right. And at Africa Team Geek. Right. Next one. If at these foods that I'm about to show you, tell me which part do we eat? You need to tell me if we eat the leaves, the stem, the root, or the fruit, or the seed of the plant. So I'm going to show you different pictures, and you need to tell me which part of it do we eat? Is it the stem, the leaf, the root, the fruit, or the seed of the plant? Right, here is the first one. Which part do we eat? Right, here's a cabbage. Which part of the cabbage do we eat? Are we eating the leaves, the stem, the seed, the roots? All right, we are eating the leaves. Excellent, guys. We're actually eating the leaves of the cabbage. Well done. Here's the next one. Carrots. What part are we eating? Leaf, the stem, the roots. Which part of the carrots are we eating? All right, and a lot of you are saying the root or the stem. Excellent answer. We are actually eating the root of the carrot. Well done. Right, next one, Millie. What part of Millie are we eating? Which part of the millies are we eating? Seeds. Excellent. We're actually eating the seeds. Level, your hand is up. What do you have for us? Level,
Yes.
you raise your hand.
I was gonna say for the millies, aren't we eating the stem?
No, we're not eating the stem. We're eating the seeds. The stem would actually be the last, the last part that surrounds the corn. Yeah, we're eating the seeds.
Okay.
Good question, though, Level. Thank you so very much. Awesome. All right. So for the millies, we're eating the seeds. Awesome. Next one. Bananas. What are we eating? The stem, the leaf, the root, the fruit, or the seed of the plant? What are we eating with a banana? Perfect. Perfect answers. We are eating the fruit. Very, very delicious fruit indeed. We are eating the fruit of the banana. All right. All right. Now, I would like you to find food labels. All right. Now, this is an activity you'll need to do on your own in your spare time. All right. And you can obviously I'll give you my contact details at the end. Actually, send me your work, which I'd love to see. So I would like you to find 3 food labels of any healthy food. So find 3 food labels of any healthy food and 2 food labels of unhealthy food, and sort the food in the correct food groups. Now, behind each and every single food, there's a label. And at the label, will tell you how many carbs are in the food, how many lipids, which includes your fats and oils, what vitamins are included in the food. I would like you to list all 3 healthy foods. Right, someone asked what are lipids. So lipids are fats and oils that are categorized under lipids. All right, so lipids are actually just fats and oils, but the big word for them would be lipids. Thank you for asking that question. Good question. Alright, lipids or your fats and oils. Alright, so find 3 food labels of any healthy food. Alright, and 2 food labels of 4 food groups. Alright, remember lipids are fats and oils. Someone has already started and said oils would be avocado. Well done. Alright, so under your lipids, which are fats and oils, definitely an avocado is very, very oily. All right. Awesome. Chocolate. Woo! All right. Great stuff. Some of you are thinking chocolate, hey? Fadila, awesome stuff. All righty. So we've almost come to the end of this lesson. And what would I like you to take away? First of all, you always need to keep the environment that you live in clean for all living things to benefit. Remember we spoke about, we just did a recap on the ecosystem and how the ecosystem is actually an environment for all of us to live. We all depend on the ecosystem for survival and we all need to benefit, right? So if we keep it clean, we can all benefit. You benefit, the dogs benefit because the environment is clean. If we keep the air clean, it's obviously a good process for photosynthesis and for other animals to benefit from that, all right? Right, also remember that you are what you eat. You always need to ensure a balanced diet at all times to avoid some diseases that can be related to the food you eat. Now that we're on diseases, you can think of some diseases that are actually related to the food that you eat. Just type them down in the comment box. What diseases are related to the food that you eat? All right. Ravashra, I think it is, said diabetes. That's very good. Leah, obesity. Tooth decay. All right, awesome stuff. Rickets, BP, which is obviously blood pressure. Excellent answers. So you guys need to make sure that you're eating healthy food at all times to avoid all of these diseases. All right. All right, here are some helpful links that will help you. First link would be to help you with photosynthesis. You can just get that on YouTube. All right, that will just basically show you the process of photosynthesis. And the last link that will help you out would be for food web. That is the link attached to help you out for that. All right. All right. Now, next time we're going to talk about matter and materials, which are going to be your solids, liquids, and gases. So please remember to always just stay tuned for that next lesson, which we're going to talk about. Remember, solids, liquids, and gases. All right. For more information, just contact me on my email below, karabo.fkashani@gmail.com. Remember to follow us on social media at Africa Team Geek and hashtag Lockdown eSchool. Thank you all for being a part of this classroom. You've all been amazing. Thank you all for your answers and interacting. And can't wait to see you again next time for our next lesson on solids, liquids, and gases. Bye.